Hey guys, welcome to the final video of the 7-step sourcing process called award implementation. In this stage, we're going to be looking at how we can finally sign off on the RFP, make the award decisions, and quickly move into the contracting and implementation phase. So without waiting any further, let's jump right in. All right, so the award and implementation, the final stage of the 7-step sourcing process. So the first question that comes up is, what are the goals and objectives of this stage? So the goals and objectives can be, different, have different aspects of it, but the key thing is to finalize the outcomes of the negotiation, run the scenario based on the revised data. So if you're going to award it to this new vendor, you want to revise the data based on the new contract, make internal recommendations and award decisions, communicate this decision to the different stakeholders, initiate the contract workflow, and also communicate the decision to the other vendors once the contract has been signed and executed. So what is the final analysis? So the final analysis and scenario revision basically is if there's any revisions based on the outcome. So for example, if you've been buying something from supplier A for quite some time, and now because you are actually going to be buying something from a new vendor, if it's the same item, it's pretty straightforward. You got a lower pricing or better value. But if there's a change in the pricing or if there's a change in the items that are being bought, you want to build that scenario as to see how much are you going to change and how much is going to remain the same. So once you have that revision done, you actually are able to say what is the new contract going to look like. The second piece is the internal sign-off. Now, if you do have any sort of change that you need to make or any alternatives that you need to switch over to, you need to make sure that you actually run that by your internal stakeholders and get their buy-in. Without their buy-in, it is really difficult to truly implement a new vendor, so it's important to get that. So get their approval, get the approval of the steering committee, and document their sign-off. I think it's really important that we have that documented so that we know that there's a decision that's being made deliberately because of certain reasons and factors that have been the outcome of the RFP. And the last piece I would say is to notify and initiate the contract workflow. So what does that mean? So you want to notify the awarded vendor, a contingent award. What is a contingent award? Generally, a contingent award is a award that is, that the final award of the contract is done upon a successful contract execution. Now, it might seem obvious, but the reason why you want to actually put that contingent award is because you want to indicate to the awarded vendor that you want to move towards them in the business, so you're not keeping them waiting. But at the same time, you want to make sure that they understand that this whole business, whatever spend, whatever amount it is dependent upon them working with you to get the contract executed. The second piece is to initiate the contract workflow with your contracts team. So what that basically means is you've made the award upon the contingent award, and you're telling your contracts team, hey, let's look through the contracts, let's go through this process. And once you've done this, and the contract workflow is completed where the contract has been executed, then you notify the non-awarded vendors. The reason why you want to also notify them is because you want to be respectful of the RFP process, and you want to be respectful for the time that they have invested in trying to win your business. So notify them as well. Generally speaking, you can look at contracts, they have different layers. You've got an MSA, and then you've got maybe the schedule or the pricing. So even if you have the MSA executed, that is more than sufficient for you to at least notify the non-awarded vendors. If you have no agreement with the new awarded vendor, then it's best to wait till you have any one of those synced up. So that is the overall sort of process for the award implementation. The key piece, and just a reminder, is first, finish your analysis, run the scenarios. Second, seek your approval from your stakeholders, steering committee, get it in writing. And third is to initiate the contract workflow and also communicate the awarded and non-awarded vendors depending upon what documents you have in place. So with that is the end of the 7-step sourcing process. All right, guys, so that was the final video of the 7-step sourcing process. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you go back to the previous videos and reference some of the things that we've done. It is important that you are keeping a transparent process throughout the whole 7-step sourcing process because it's not just the companies that are working and fighting to win your business, but it's also the people that are involved. And one thing that I've learned is that the industry is small, so it's important to have good relationships with one another. And when you have those good relationships, you never know when there's a need for a different vendor to help support. So if you have that relationship built out, it really does help in building those things out. I know I've gone into a really short sort of video on this, which is the award and implementation. I will be doing another video on just the implementation phase alone. It is not necessarily tied to the 7-step sourcing process. It's an implementation sort of standalone that you can use and look at any given point for any different processes. So we're gonna be doing a more deep dive in that. But this is the conclusion of the 7-step sourcing process. I hope you enjoyed all these videos. I'm going to continue posting more videos on the sourcing process, and I really appreciate you being part of this journey. So if you like this video, please hit a like, subscribe to the channel, and please leave your feedback in the comments below. I'll definitely get back to them, and I really appreciate your support. Thanks.